Yo! Alrighty, as everybody is so excited and loves to hear about, here is the ever desired Dagger Rogue. Now, I'm sure if you're in the space of Legacy Steel and Sorcery, you have become in contact with a Dagger Rogue at least once. This is a guide video to teach you how to be a better Dagger Rogue, or how to know what the hell you're dealing with when fighting against one. First thing that we talk about when we go over guides in general is I talk about the traits that help specifically with the weapon of choice. Today we're going to talk about daggers, and obviously there are some traits that help quite a bit with the daggers. The first one you get is Adrenaline, which is the rogue special skill resource, the special resource that the class has. And essentially what it is the higher that your adrenaline is for the dagger specifically, the more damage your charged attack will do. And your charged attack is pretty much your main source of damage on the dagger itself. The other one that's really important is Sharpened Blade, that you get really early on, where your charge attack does 30% more damage, and you'll notice when this is active because your blades will have like a twinkle to them while they're at your hips or out. Um, Silent as a grave, making your footsteps a little bit more silenced. Um, but really, that is the majority of the two that really work with Dagger Rogue. I mean, that's it. The the class kind of speaks for itself through that. I guess Disorient's one where you can double evade through enemies rooting them, and then double evading while snared removes your snaring. But for all intended purposes, Adrenaline Sharp Blade, you're ready to roll, baby. All right, and then down into your skills. Obviously, when you have a dagger equipped, you have Cheap Shot. Now, Cheap Shot is a 4-second incapacitation of your enemy. It is a full stun, a full removal of any action that your enemy can do. It is a AoE cone in front of you, and once they are hit with it, that is essentially the whole gameplay of a Dagger Rogue, is finding a way to get Cheap Shot off so that you can get behind your target and charge a really big heavy attack, and that's going to do an insane amount of damage. Now, as far as your mark ability, which is your one ability, you have three different options. I recommend, when learning how to play Dagger Rogue, to just use Poison Claw. The reason being, poison is one of the most effective like disease types that you can put on somebody, and if you can get really good at just applying poison to the enemy, you're going to be pretty much up in every single fight. And a lot of the clips that I have following the breakdown, you'll see that my main go-to is to immediately proc poison, and then the minute I get poison on them, I pretty much know that the fight's mine. And it's really as easy as that. What poison does is it ticks them for nature damage over time, and it also reduces all healing by 50%. So all the while they're getting their health ticked down, they're actually suffocating even harder because they're wasting more resources. So the faster I can get poison on them, the faster I can really whittle down this fight. There are some other builds that you can run once you're a little bit more comfortable with the Serrated Claw. Once you're really good with your poison darts and you're able to proc poison really well with those, and you don't have to lean on them as much, building Hemorrhage and being able to poison them is really good at the same time. Same thing with Disease. If you can get Disease off on them, it reduces their maximum mana, as well as reduces the damage that they deal by quite a bit. So if you become really comfortable with the Dagger Rogue style and you want to branch out a little more, you definitely can. But for the intended purposes of just showing you base level Dagger Rogue, I would just stick to Poison Claw myself, personally. The second skill that you will have is Shroud or Phantom Veil. This is the biggest injustice of skill leveling in the game. Phantom Veil you don't unlock until you're level 18, and then this is kind of like the pinnacle ability for you to escape people. Um, very rarely will I use Phantom Veil offensively, but I will very, very often use it defensively, where I send a decoy in one direction, I run the other direction. If they get too close to me, I teleport to the other one and just keep running the other way. Phantom Veil makes you almost impossible to kill as long as you're playing the slow game. And then Shroud until then is essentially the only option. It makes you invisible for a little bit, and once the invisibility is up, you actually get stealth, which is like a camouflage, and that lasts a little bit longer. It's very only used defensively. It's not really ever able to be used offensively. So Shroud until Phantom Veil, then Phantom Veil all the way. For your 3 ability, you want to be using Phantom Dagger. I believe you unlock Phantom Dagger at level 9. And what Phantom Dagger is it's a ability that you like toss a dagger out at the enemy, and if you were to hit them, they start taking damage over time, shadow damage over time. And if that shadow damage over time is on them, you can re-hit the button and it will teleport you directly behind them so that you can really combo with that cheap shot. Now, there's a lot of other in-depth concepts with Phantom Dagger that you can do, such as if they're poisoned and you throw Phantom Dagger and hit them with it, don't be so much in a hurry to take it. The longer that the Phantom Dagger sits on them, the more shadow damage over time they're taking. And if they're poisoned, it stacks with the poison damage. So they're taking shadow damage and poison damage at the same time. And you can take the Phantom Dagger a little bit later than what you think, and then combo it into the cheap shot. So all in all, those are the best skills to use when playing Dagger Rogue. There are people that will try other things, but to be honest, they're just not nearly as effective. And then let's roll right into the gear. So with the gear, like I mentioned, my goal when I play Dagger Rogue is to proc poison as fast as possible. So Emerald Rippers are what I use for this reason. Because the backstab always gains bonus damage without requiring the target to be poisoned. So it gives me the option of dealing the extra backstab damage that the charged attack does. And if they're poisoned, they actually take increased damage. And sometimes getting poison on somebody is extremely difficult. So if you're unable to, doing a full heavy charge with Emerald Rippers is still very effective. And the headpiece that I use, I like Venomous Fangs for the Venom Weaver. Now, I will put in an asterisk here. If I don't have Phantom Veil unlocked and I'm using Shroud, I will very much think about the possibilities of running the Dust Crawler Visage, because it increases the pure invisibility length, and if that is your only ability for safety, this can really save your life. I believe this gives you an additional half second of pure invisibility where they cannot see anything on you, or they can't see you at all. So if I don't have the if I don't have Phantom Veil and I'm using Shroud, I really think about taking the other helmet. But Venom Weaver's Cowl I like because when I trigger poison on them, which is essentially my entire goal all the time, I will get a burst of adrenaline. And as I mentioned before during the talents, adrenaline is directly correlated to how much damage your backstab does. So I really enjoy using the Venom Weave Cowl. The Spalders, the Venom Weave Spalders, with dealing damage on full charge attacks, creates a toxic cloud that applies poison buildup. Pretty self-explanatory here. I'm looking to poison you any way that I can. The fastest I can poison you, the better I'm going to be. And then I use Dunestalker, where dealing damage increases my stamina regeneration for a short bit. A lot of times, your combo gets a little messy, and you got to find your way out. And daggers attack very, very, very fast, and they stagger if you do it right. And taking advantage of getting extra stamina as a rogue is always a good thing. It increases your ability to be slippery. And then Dunestalker Foot Guards, where hitting enemies with an evade attack it generates your adrenaline. And again, as I've mentioned, your adrenaline is your source of damage when you're backstabbing with a dagger. It makes the difference between hitting 700 damage or hitting 360 damage. So having adrenaline is massive. If you notice that you're low in adrenaline, sometimes it's better just to reset the fight entirely. As long as they're poisoned, let your adrenaline build up and then go back for more. As far as rings go, I really recommend just using stamina rings until you get physical damage rings. Stamina on rogues is pretty important. It'll keep you alive, and you have a trait that also reduces your exhaustion recovery time, which is really, really, really good as well. All right, just some real quick Goldbrook fun. Your combo essentially is always going to be hitting your Phantom Dagger into the backstab, into a cheap shot, into your one ability, which is your mark, into a right click, which is called your snake bite. And it will guarantee them to be poisoned unless they have any poison resistance food on. If you do the combination fast enough, as soon as you cheap shot them and you spam your one into a right click, this is a guarantee. They'll never be able to get out of it. And then, as I was saying before, if you poison them and then also throw this Phantom Dagger on them, notice that they're taking that shadow damage and that poison damage at the same time. And there's still a lot of time in between when you can turn around and take your Phantom Dagger into your full attack. And then remember, when you're playing, the evade attacks will actually raise your adrenaline. And then the other way to get your adrenaline back, which I didn't cover a whole lot, is going invisible. Notice how fast my adrenaline goes up if I go invisible. And then another thing that I want to cover real quick while in Goldbrook is movement on the class. And what the movement tech is with daggers is you want to jump and unsheath your weapon. Notice how you move much faster. You can jump and sheath your weapon again. That's one of your traits, where the higher your stamina is, the faster you move. So you actually, about until a quarter, have a movement speed buff. But what the tech ends up being, once you get this part down, if you try to sheath your weapon out, you'll actually end up moving slower. So that's why I jump before unsheathing my weapon. And then before it ends, if you double jump and then sheath your weapon, you actually get a movement speed buff on your jumps. So you actually end up going a little bit further with the double jump there than you would just normally jumping into the sheath weapon. This is going to help you track down a bunch of people. That's pretty much it. I mean, there's really not too much with Dagger Rogue other than that, without using your darts and things like that. So let's jump right into some clips and show you how I played Dagger Rogue in the heat of the moment. One of the biggest questions that I get is how to deal with a priest when using a Dagger Rogue, and this is what this clip is going to be about. A lot of times you'll notice when you're playing a Dagger Rogue, it seems like your fights are a little bit longer than other fights tend to be on other classes, just based on how your class works. So essentially you want to hit and run, and your time to kill is fast, but it's not quite as fast as any of the others. So what you end up in a lot of situations is 1v2s or dodging around. And here's the priest that breaks in, and what you'll notice is I completely disengage immediately. And the reason is because he has a shell on him. And you notice that as soon as that white shell around him goes away, I immediately engage. The reason being is if that shell is up on him, not his bubble is like the little bit of a yellow bubble on him. His shell is a white eggshell essentially. And if that's on him and you go to try to attack him, you'll actually completely miss out. Right here's his shell, by the way. See how that's procced and he's got a blue one inside? So that shell that he's got on him right now means I am unable to PD to him. See, he blocks my Phantom Daggers. And even if I was able to cheap shot him, if I went to do a heavy attack, it would completely miss. This whole time, my objective has been trying to poison him. And notice I ran away until he drops his shield. And the minute that shield drops, I'm now good to go. So don't ever engage with a priest while he has his shield. And then once it's down, try to get him poisoned. As you can see, I got the poison off, and now it's just play the long game till I can reset and do a big hit. So this is not his shell. I know I'm safe to go. Heavy swing, there's the damage, and now he's just dead. This is another instance where against a warrior, I kind of find the way that works best against my target. Normally you don't want to stand in his face, but I got the poison off very early, and he hasn't done any bits of damage to me, and I'm just kind of chunking him with auto attacks. And I find that if I'm able to do enough damage fast enough, there's no real reason for me to try to reset. And he's just taking a bunch of punish, and I know that he's got to be low, and I just spam it out. But as I mentioned, usually when you're playing a rogue, people just end up trying to find you. As you can see, as soon as I get done with him, I run right into this wizard and silences me off the get. My cover's blown. My initiation is really not in a great spot. So I just kind of reset. I wait for my opportunity and immediately go for the poison, which is my number one every time. I try to throw a cheeky PD in there to set up for the double damage as far as the proccing goes, and it didn't happen to work out. But then I kill him, and NANI? As you can see, we have another buddy that comes around at us. Now, this man is a blue sword rogue, so I had a pretty big disadvantage against this matchup. The only thing I can really do is try to poison him and run away. The minute he's on me, I kind of lose. So I stam out here, but he goes the other way, thankfully. And as he's trying to chase me, I turn around and I hit him with a paradart to stop him from engaging too much. And then he hits me with a paradart. And so we're just kind of going back and forth, dancing around this tree. I run away. He stams out. I need a real solid reset after fighting that wizard. And he gave me the opportunity for that by stamming out. And really, it's just the same pattern and thought process forever. How do I hit a PD? How do I get him poisoned? And then how do I reset and get him to PD again so that I can take advantage of this heavy hit that I have? So as you can see, here we go with the poison. So now the guy's poisoned. So he's becoming really aggressive on me. I hit him with a cheap shot without landing a PD. Then I get pulled by a warrior. So now the fight's even uglier. Now I have to assess two different people at the same time. And I'm just trying to look for a reset at this point because I'm not interested in fighting a super geared rogue and a warrior at the same time. The rogue actually was pretty upset that our duel got messed up. So he actually asked me to kill the warrior with him so we can continue our fight. And I said, absolutely no problem. We both were attacking him, and then we ended up popping resilience. You can see he's now fighting a wizard up there at the same time. So our third party is getting third partied. It just turns into a real crazy mess. But the whole time I'm just watching that other fight, making sure that I'm safe, resetting all of my skills, and I'm looking for my basic combo. My cheap shot into poisoning, into a heavy attack. It looks like the wizard wants to fight now, and the warrior's going after the other guy. So, you know, that's the thing with playing Dagger Rogue. There's never a clean kill. There's never a fair one-on-one when you're playing this class. It's always just constant assessing situations. And the minute you overcommit to something you shouldn't commit to is the minute you die. The rogue notices I cheap shot him and he just let it go. Essentially, me and this rogue are now teaming against these two, because our fight got ruined, and now all that's left is the wizard, and honestly, we just end up beating him up, and me and the rogue don't even get to finish our fight. But when you're playing Dagger Rogue, just expect that your fights are going to break down in some really weird ways, just because the nature of your class and how it works. You're very sneaky and slithery, and, you know, taking advantage of any angle that gives you an advantage is kind of how you play the class. So if you can find your way to third partying somebody, that's your biggest opportunity for a win. If you can find somebody that is willing to team up with you in the moment, don't be afraid to backstab them later to get double the loot. But as you can see, me and this rogue clean up, and then we part our ways. Speaking of third parties, as you can see, I see a rogue here fighting a hunter. This hunter has no idea I'm here until it's too late and I'm already on her. I miss both of my PDs because I'm a pro. And essentially, this is a medium bow. And medium bows are kind of scary because she can just evade a shot and guarantee hits on me. So I'm playing Ring Around the Rosie until I hit my combo, where I will mark her and then Snake Bite, which is holding my right click to guarantee poison proc, and now I just hide. And she tries to heal in front of me, which is an opportunity for me to go in and start initiating again, and it's exactly what I do. And then I hit her with a PD, and I eventually get behind her, and I go for the heavy shot, and I'm getting low, so I want to reset. I'm way up in the fight. If I can get to full HP, I know she has no chance of getting to full HP, and she ends up dying to the mob. And I go around and I try to loot, and the very typical thing that ends up happening, which is almost every time, you run into another rogue while playing rogue.
Hello, motherfucker.
So as you can see, I seen him walk by me. He misses his opening. I hit him with a cheap shot, and I poison him, and I immediately say in the clip, good game, because I know that I have now won. As you can see, that man actually hit me with a PD, and instead of being able to cheap shot me, I use my Phantom Veil, which removes my snare effect so that I can move out of his cheap shot. So when fighting other Dagger rogues, it's pretty important to keep in mind that you can save enough mana to use your Phantom Veil to get out of it. And then he's been poisoned the whole time. I hit him with a fat 600. I see another rogue looting the body. As I run away, I drop the one and I'm low. And this guy smells the blood, so he's coming in on me immediately. He hits me hard, and he messes up by not doing a heavy attack. I would have died. He procs my resilience, and then I get a really nice opening on him, but I'm still really low. I was hoping to scare him away from me. It didn't work. But I was going to die, but I used the Phantom Veil to break the snare. I get my reset off, and this guy's poisoned and took the right hit damage from me, so he's running now. And I pretty much just chase him down when he no longer has the element of surprise, and the poison has ticked him down enough. He hasn't tried healing at all, and it ends up just being a pretty clean 1v1v1 scenario here. All right, so as you can see, I hit him with a really hard back shot after hitting him with poison, so I know he's really low. And then I just start evade attacking into him just to kind of secure the pressure and the kill, leading into another backstab. Again, you're going to find in the clip, as a Dagger rogue, you are never looking for a fair fight. You're always looking for the third party. You're always looking for maximum amount of misery, because that's just kind of where your class excels. You like when fights break down into some chaos because it allows you to slip in and out of the situation. Obviously, I caught my prey here, and the wizard ends up going next, and the wizard plays it really well. As you can see, as throughout this fight, he does a really job countering everything that I can do, which when I throw my Phantom Dagger, all he's doing is blocking, making it so it's impossible for me to ever really get my cheap shot off. And the way that I have to play this is a lot safer than I would against anybody else. So I look for a reset here because I'm starting to get too low. You have to respect the wizard's damage. And I just kind of wait to continue my my all-in. I'm holding a dart here, but he's just blocking. You know, the block is a huge counter to the class, and you know, you just got to find your moment where you can take advantage of him messing it up, or whatever. Don't get too antsy. You know, play your game. Play your class the way it's supposed to be. You know, patience, dodge. You know, now I have a wolf on him, so I'm thinking maybe this wolf can help me. I can get him a little freaked out, and we have another rogue. So now I'm getting attacked by another rogue. The wizard actually saves me from getting heavy shot, And now I've full reset because I have to reassess my entire life. There's another dynamic to the fight. The wizard still wants me, and now he's trying to aggress on me because he knows that I've been taking some hits, but I'm looking for the full reset. I eventually find my full reset, and I'm going to do literally the same thing I did to start the fight. I'm looking for an opportunity to take advantage of somebody's mistake. The wolf is really causing him some pain. He's not paying attention to me anymore, and the wizard saved me again here, actually, which is crazy from being poisoned. So I'm super low, not having a great time. This fight's really taking a toll on me. I've reset 8 times, but that's just the nature of a dagger rogue. And eventually, I find my in on the wizard because he forgot to keep looking at me, and I hit him with one into a cheap shot. I did not look for the poison here. I looked for the damage because it just took a lot. And now that he's dead, I now have to fight a dagger rogue in a one-on-one, and it was actually a pretty fun fight, to say the least. I go for the poison, immediately poison him, and now actually has some poison resistance on. I didn't poison him with the combo. So I probably look to poison him again, I think, here. He's got hemorrhaging on me. Smoke bomb. Take too much damage. We reset. Assess the damages. So I didn't go for the cheap shot here because he used the Phantom Veil on me. And instead, I just guessed where he was going to be. And I hit him with a full charge attack for 700 damage. Now I take a reset on my health. He's definitely feeling low. I go to loot the body to get a little bit more meds. I see him all the way over there. And the fight's pretty drawn out, but that's just how this goes on a dagger rogue. Expect the third parties. Expect for the chaos. He hits me with the Phantom Dagger. I use the Phantom Veil, turn it around, cheap shot him, officially proc the poison, and now the fight is secured. Because once I have the poison on him, he can't go invisible on me anymore. I bring him out of it. I just chase him down. I wait for my opportunity to hit him with another Phantom Veil. And once the Phantom Veil is landed on him, it's just a good night cheap shot, to be honest. And good fight. That is another 1v1v1v1 by just assessing all of the angles. Alright, so in good fashion, we have another priest clip here, but as you can guess, it doesn't just end up with a priest. Priest procs the shield, and he's holding it right in front of me, which allows me to get some really free hits in. This is what happens, by the way, if they have their shield up. Notice how I didn't even do any damage to him. I used my full combo to poison him, never got it off. He tries to Heaven's Ward away. I cheap shot in his face. I didn't wait for a PD. Don't be afraid to sometimes just throw the cheap shot in there. You're supposed to be unexpected, right? Your job is to never let them know what's happening. I go for a heavy hit here. No damage because he's got that shell procced. So I just try to reset. The warrior's here now. Fight's breaking down into some crazy business. I'm waiting for his shell to go down. I'm not doing anything until his shell's done. Now I'm going to start throwing PDs, and then I'm going to go into a cheap shot, heavy attack, and the warrior's here to start doing a lot of damage to me. I need to reset. Warriors are very scary, especially for rogue. He's going to try to chase me, and essentially now it's a 1v1. I get my reset. Looking for the PD, fishing for it. Essentially, when fighting a warrior, you just need them to make a mistake. You need them to do the wrong thing. Because if they're doing the right thing, you'll never hit him. He has his axe out, leads me into a free PD. And I hit him with the poison. Now he's poisoned. So game on. He's going to start panicking sooner than later. He wants to heal. Trying to heal in my face never works. I stop his heal immediately. He holds his block. I tried to cheap shot while he's holding his block. It doesn't work. He dashes. I get out of it. PD him. I'm letting it proc for the double damage. Notice he's getting hit by 23s, 27s, 23s, 27s, and then I hit him with a full cheap shot. just dancing around him. I know he's low. I actually had some panic happening in the background, which is why I looked away, and I'm not even looking at my screen. The fight would have been over sooner, but I actually had a sick child this day, so I was making sure she was okay. I took the opportunity to reset anyways. He was poisoned, so his reset's never going to be as effective as mine, and he's still running away. I find my cheap shot. Game over. All right, and that's just going to about sum up the Dagger Rogue here as far as the clips go. Couple things to mention here. The Dagger Rogue is essentially the despicable class of the game, and if you want to play it well, you might as well start playing that role. The further into the rat style of gameplay you can get into, the better you'll be on a Dagger Rogue. Never fair fights. Always look for the third party. VoIP if you can. Manipulation if you can. The whole time, your whole goal is to find a way to let their guard down, to not expect it, to not be looking at you. Get your initial engage off, which is your PD into your mark, into your holding right click, which is your snake bite, and then you just kind of go ham. Outside of that, thank you guys again. This one ran a little bit longer. I wanted to show more clips because it really does get a little crazy when you play Dagger Rogue. The time to kill is a little bit slower than these other classes. So you tend to get a lot of this breakdown fights where there's just people here, people there, people here, people there. And assessing your situation, knowing your resets, knowing when to come back in is all part of playing this class efficiently. But thank you again, guys, for watching. If it helped, if you learned anything, give me a like, give me a subscribe. I really appreciate it. I have some more videos on the way. They take a little bit of time to do, as you guys know, but you know the amount of support I get from you guys on it just means the world to me. So thank you very much. I appreciate it. And until the next one, my boys.